this video, we're going to work on the ALEKS problem called Understanding Net Electrical Charge. There are two versions of this problem. We're going to work on this version first, and then I'm going to show you the other version of the problem as well. So this version of the problem, which is simpler, is going to give you an object, and it's going to ask you to calculate the net charge of the object. The net charge is just simply the sum of all of the charges in that object. So this particular object, we have a -1 charge. If there's no number, like in this case or this case, the magnitude of that charge is just 1. So we have a -1 charge, and then we have a total of +2, +2, +1. We have a total of +5 for our positive charges. Add all that up, that gives us a net charge of +4. We always, by convention, put the sign first and then the number second. And just as a side note, if you added up the net charge to be +1, you do need to write it as +1. Same is true for -1. If you add it up and it's -1, you need to include the 1. You can't just say positive or negative. ALEKS doesn't like that. It needs to be +1 or -1. So that's this version of the problem, pretty straightforward. The other version of the problem is going to give you two objects. So I'm just going to sketch a couple of objects over here with charges, just like the problem that we just did. I'm going to duplicate the problem that we just did. So there's going to be object number 1, and it's going to have a second object on there as well. So we'll do something different. Let's say like that. It's just a little bit different. And it's going to ask us what's going on with these two objects. Do they attract each other? Do they repel each other? Or is there no force exerted at all between those two objects? So here's the general rule. If the objects have different, let's see, I'm going to phrase it differently. If the sign of the charges the signs of the charges are different, meaning that one is positive, one is negative, this means that the objects are going to be attracted to each other. The opposite charges are attracted to each other. If the signs of the charges are the same, meaning that they're both positive or they're both negative, they are going to repel each other. And if one or both of the objects has a net charge of 0, then nothing's going on at all. ALEKS's option for that says that they exert no force on each other. So for this particular version of the problem, we have to figure out the net charge for each object. We already figured out that object was a +4, and then this other object that I drew is +2, 1. So this has a total of +4 with a -1. So this one is a total net +3. Because these objects have the same charge, they are going to repel each other. If I had set this problem up a little bit differently, like that, then that object's net charge would be a -1, and we would say that they are attracted to each other because one has a positive charge and one has a negative charge. It doesn't matter how big the charge is. In this case, the 4 and the 1 don't mean anything. All that we're looking at is the sign. That's it. That's all that matters. And if I set it up a little bit differently again, so it looks like this. This guy's net charge is 0. If you have one, at least one, it only takes one. If one of the objects has a net charge of 0, no force between the two objects.